MOD video for today. Today's episode 49 of Completely Unrelated. Completely Unrelated, episode 49. Today I want to talk about um something that I realized the other day. I was hanging out with my kids. Um and I realized that my son specifically, that he's at that age where like I realized that I can like it's time for me to like start teaching him things like how to be a man, you know what I mean? Like um I'm noticing that he's growing up and asking questions and wanting to know, Dad, how do I do this? Dad, can I do this? Should I, as can I do this as a man or whatever? There's those questions, and every time he asks me those questions, it hits me that, man, this is that time where I remember that I wish like my dad was there for me. Not that like my dad wasn't there for me, but he wasn't he wasn't really involved. You know what I mean? Like let me put it this way. Like the only thing I remember from my dad telling me about being a man is being a man is hard. You gotta work. That's all he told me. That's all he told me. And he wasn't lying. He wasn't lying. Being a man is hard and you have to work. But what I wanted is just I wanted him to be more involved. You know what I mean? I wanted him to really answer those questions for me, about what it's like being a man, what should I do, what can I do, what shouldn't I do, about girls and like losing my virginity, all that stuff, like when you start getting older, 12, 13, 14, um you start like your body's changing, right? You start waking up, a little feeling a little different, you know what I mean? Like, and you have those questions. I remember that like I never had those conversations with my dad, like about girls or being a man and all that stuff. Like I said, my dad all basically all he told me is being a man is hard, you got to work. That's all he told me. And as my son is getting older, he's 9, he's going to be 10. I'm realizing that, man, this is that time where I can just be more involved in his life, in his development on his way to being a man. So every time he asks me a question, I always make sure to like just be that guy that I wish my dad was for me. I'm not bashing on my dad or anything like that. Like my dad, he was there for me, financially, whatever. But I just wanted him to be more involved, and that's what I want to do with my son. I just want to be more involved in the process of him becoming a man. And I also think that it's kind of a generational thing, you know what I mean? Like, like my dad, I don't think my dad ever talked about how he felt, you know what I mean? Because excuse me, back in those days, talking about your feelings, that's not something that a man does. That's for women. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's part of it, of him not being more involved, in my development. But I want things to be different with my son. I really hope that we can, like be friends, but to the point where he feels comfortable telling me like everything that he goes through. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm realizing that he's getting to that age because I'm noticing like the questions he's asking, his behavior. I'm realizing that this is that time where I can kind of mold him, into like and teach him how to be a man, And I'm really glad that I realized that I'm at that stage, I'm at that point, because it's a very important, because with the internet and everything, kids get so much information so fast they don't even know what to do with it. So it's very important for us as fathers, if you have a kid, to really be there and like guide them through all this BS. So I'm looking forward to that, man. And if you have a kid, especially if you have a boy, you know exactly where I'm coming from with this, bro. Anyways, man, that's it for today. Peace.